Assalamu alaikum. I hope you guys are doing well. Let me give a little introduction of myself. My name is Hina Fatma, Dr. Hina Fatma. I am an MBBS from Dow Medical College, and I live here in Fresno, California. And thank you very much for joining this workshop of mine. I work here as an NLP Master Life Coach. And my specialty is specifically related to trauma and to anxiety, because I feel that a lot of, people, especially women, they suffer from a lot of anxiety due to past traumas and due to, fear and resentment, which holds them back. So I help these men and women kind of, instead of focusing and thinking and worrying about their past and stuff that's stopping them, to kind of create a plan for themselves and move ahead and make a better life for themselves and for the people around them. I am also a trained suicide and harassment prevention specialist. So there is a special training that I have gone through over here. So I do provide coaching services if you or anybody you know would be interested in that. And also I am training people on NLP. I'm teaching them how to use NLP skills. So before we go on and talk about NLP, I would love to know where you guys are from and what you guys do. So over to you. Who would want to start? Maybe Reem. We can start with Reem.
Yes. Hi, my name is Reem Gulzar. I'm an MBBS doctor from Fatma Jinnah Medical College. I've completed my USMLE and I've applied a couple of times for residency. So yeah, that's about it. I came across Dr. Fatma Hina through a mutual acquaintance and was very interested in NLP. So I thought of giving this a try.
Good for you. So have you heard of NLP before, Reem?
No, actually, this was the first time I came across the term.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll talk about that. Okay. Hafsat, would you want to give us a little introduction?
Assalamu alaikum. Basically, I'm from Sialkot, and I'm a copywriter, the content writer, and I'm here to learn about NLP. I'm interested in.
So what interests you in NLP? Why NLP?
Actually, I heard a little about it, so I want to know in detail what is actually NLP and how practitioners or other NLP experts use in daily life.
Okay.
So that's why I'm here.
All right. So you want to use it in your field of practice as a copywriter, as a content. You
Yes,
feel
yes.
it will be beneficial. Good for you.
Yes. Yes. Right. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, Romana ji. How are you doing?
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing good.
Would you want to give a little introduction, introduce yourself to the rest of the participants here?
Yeah. I am a businesswoman, and Hina is one of my friends, and she told me about NLP. So, and she said she's gonna do a meeting this Saturday. So I said, okay, let's. I'm just curious about an interest to know what's going on. It's something really new topics to me, a new subject, because my major was business the whole time. After I talked to Hina, I got interested in this this matter. So
yeah,
that's all. That's why I'm here today.
Yes, so NLP is very interesting. NLP stands for neuro-linguistic programming, and a lot of people think it has a lot to do with medical sciences or with neurosciences, but it's basically personal skills, personal development. And you can use these skills not just in your medical field, but in your professional or in your personal lives. It helps you manage your emotions. It helps you carve out your goals, know what your goals are, and kind of create the pathway to achieve those goals. And those goals can be anything. They can be your personal emotional goals. For example, I work with anger and I work with anxiety. So these are like your emotional states, and you're trying to overcome that. But then other than that, if you have professional goals, if you're trying to, for example, excel at your workplace, or you're trying to get a job, or you're trying to kind of go up the ladder, at your work, you want to get promoted, or maybe it's some other, maybe relationship goals with your partner, with your children, with your in-laws.
Right.
So these skills, they help you with kind of elevating yourself. And they are very useful skills. You can use it on yourself. You can use it with your family. It helps you kind of understand emotions. It helps you understand other people's perspectives, and it also helps you kind of develop communication skills, better communication skills. All right. Thank you so much, Romana, for your input. So as I just went over what NLP is, so NLP basically stands for neuro linguistic programming. Neuro meaning the mind or the brain, linguistic is the language, and programming is how we use our language to influence the way we think, which in return affect the way we feel and the way we behave or the way we react. So it's all interrelated. It all starts from our mind. And we all know that as we grow up, when we are first born and we grow up, things kind of get imprinted in our minds. We as children, we observe our parents, we observe our surroundings, our teachers, our family members. We see how they behave, we see how they behave with us, and that's how we learn. We learn things, and then they kind of get imprinted in our subconscious mind, and that's where they stay there. If as a child you've seen certain things, you've seen your parents react a certain way in a certain situation, that is what you have learned, that is what you know. And a lot of times when you go out in the world, if it was not a very good way of interacting, that is the only way you know, because that's what you've seen your parents do. So we kind of get conditioned to it, and that is why then we have this belief. We start believing things which, as a matter of fact, are things that only we have experienced. We start believing that this is the only way. We start believing it's not possible in another way, and then we kind of come up with terms like, and we start labeling people or labeling situations, and we start feeling like, okay, it's not possible. I've seen my mother can't do it this way, I cannot do it. Just because we don't know how to, we start kind of questioning that whether we can do it or not do it. Just because we have not seen other people do it, or we've not learned how to do it, we don't know the skills, we don't know where to start and how to get to where we want to get. We start having these belief system that it's not possible, it's not doable, it's hard, it's something that other people can do, we cannot do, or I cannot do. So basically, we use neuro-linguistic programming to rewire, to change this way of thinking, to kind of change the memories, to change the beliefs and the value system that have been imprinted in our subconscious mind. And when we do that, what it does, it adds choices. It adds, limitless possibilities. Then we start believing and accepting that it's possible and we can do it. Okay, so one of the definitions of neuro-linguistic programming is also modeling excellence, which is it studies excellence, quality, it studies excellence and quality, how outstanding individuals and organizations get their outstanding results. Okay, so a lot of times we know this modeling works. We know, for example, if we want to become a successful businessman or successful businesswoman, we would want to study another person who's already achieved that success, and then we try to study their life. We try to study how they got there. We try to study, what did they do when they faced certain problems or hindrances or roadblocks in their life, because they're human beings too. They definitely have families, they definitely have roadblocks in their life. Nobody's life is perfect. So you kind of study them, you talk to them, you ask them how they got there, and then you follow their example. So that is what neuro-linguistic programming has done. The founders of this program, Grinder and Dilts, what they did was that they studied excellence, and then they created systems, they created processes to help other people achieve those excellent outstanding results what other people have achieved in their lives. For example, how do people overcome their anger? How have people who've had anger issues, or how have people who had past severe traumatic experiences, or how have people who were bullied, say, or who had any kind of uh, anxiety or problems or roadblocks in their life, how did they overcome it, and how can we do it? So this is one of the things that neuro-linguistic programming does. The second thing it does is, as I mentioned already, it helps in reprogramming our unconscious mind through use of language. Okay, so for example, I can say that I am depressed. When I say I am depressed, what I'm doing is I'm labeling myself as a person who is depressed, who's sad, who's not interested in life generally. But if I change the use of my language and say that this particular incident makes me depressed, or this particular person makes me depressed or upsets me, or I don't like this certain environment. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it's the weather. People are so sensitive that when it gets cloudy and it gets especially in the winters, they have these mood swings. So it's so important for you to know that whether it really is depression that you have, that you are a depressed person, or whether it's being caused by something. Because the moment you feel like, okay, so this person makes me depressed, this person or this environment makes me depressed, now you know where to put the blame, and now you know where to correct it. Because once you're saying that I am depressed, it means you're blaming yourself, and you're thinking that you are in some way broken, or you are in some way not good enough or not perfect. It's very important for us to understand this, that we are all perfect. God has created us perfect. We can always we learn as we grow, and we learn even at the age of 60 and 70. There is no age limit to learning. You grow with time. You can never be static. You can never be the person you were when you were 10 years old. It's automatic. So when we label people, sometimes we label people, we generalize, we say like men are cheaters, or cheaters don't change, or for example, when women, they give birth, it happens so many times, when men tell them, oh, so what's the unique thing you've done? All the women in the world give birth to children. It's nothing extraordinary that you've done in your life. But when we do that, what we do is that we undermine the importance of that person's feeling. A cheater, if we generalize, then what we're saying is that all men are cheaters, for example, or men can't change, or women can't change. It means that you've generalized it. Then it includes everybody. And we know people change all the time. You can say, for instance, okay, that this particular person did not change. He is the same person who he was when he was 20 years old. He was a cheater when he was 20 years old, and he's still a cheater when he's 50 years old. But we do have examples of people who cheated when they were 20, 30, but they changed when later in life. So when we say all men are cheaters, it's generalizing. And then that's how our mind perceives it, And what will happen then? You will have your children, you will have your son, you will have your husband. So if you're saying that all men are cheaters, then are you saying your sons are cheaters too? Are you saying your brothers are cheaters too? Are you saying your father was a cheater too? No. So you have to be very specific in your language. You have to, because it kind of then starts affecting the way you think, and it starts affecting your behavior. So uncovering limiting beliefs to bring about a change in behavior. So again, limiting beliefs are, what are limiting beliefs? Beliefs are thoughts and experiences that limit us. It's not possible. I can't do it. It's very hard for me to do. I don't want to do it. So these are beliefs, these are values which we start believing about ourselves, that it's that stop us, that limit us. So neuro-linguistic programming helps us overcome these limiting beliefs, and it helps us identify that what exactly is it that's stopping us. I can't do it. What can't you do? Why can't you do it? What exactly is it that's stopping you? Is it the time? Is it the resources? What resources do you need? Is it the time? Is there a support system? Maybe it's a skill set that you need to learn. Maybe you need to ask for help. So identifying those specific problems so that you stop generalizing and saying, I can't do it. Because if other people can do it, you can do it too. Everybody can do it. It's just not possible. You may have to learn. When you're in first grade in school, you find your basic ABC and 1, 2, 3 is very hard. But you learn. You put your whole first grade, put your whole 1 year in learning. And then you go to second grade, third grade. And now that math is so easy for you. But when you were that 5-year-old child, you found it so hard. And there were some kids who learned like this in 5 seconds, who didn't need practice. And there were some kids who needed a lot of practice, who needed a lot of time. But they were at the end of the day able to learn it. So we all can learn it, whatever our age is, whatever our education level is, whatever our background is. It's only that you need to have an intention to change, and you need to be able to make that effort. And you need to, and in order to do that, you first have to change your belief. You have to first believe that you can do it, because unless you don't change that, you will not make an effort to kind of change whatever belief system that you have. Again, and narrative is like what we tell ourselves, what our values are, what our belief systems are. And that is what this meeting is about to end in 10 minutes, Ikra, just letting you know. Okay, so the narrative is what we tell ourselves in our mind. It affects our emotional state, our physiology, and then it affects our response. So naturally, if we're going to tell ourselves, if we wake up in the morning and we tell ourselves that we're very tired and I don't want to do anything, that's our narrative to ourselves. And what that will do is that will make us feel more tired, and we will feel more lazy, and we will not want to get out of bed. And then that will affect our behavior, that all of our day will be wasted. And then we will kind of feel more guilty about it. And we'll start saying, oh, okay, I don't want to get up. I don't feel like doing things. I feel I'm depressed, So it's a whole, Pandora stuff that starts happening. You wake up in the morning, you're tired, you don't want to get up. You tell yourself, no, I have to get up. You get up. What can I do? I'm feeling tired. I need to have a breakfast. I need to go take a shower. I need to elevate my mood. Okay, maybe reading a book, maybe watching some TV, maybe listening to some music will elevate my mood. Maybe talking to my mother will elevate my mood. A lot of times when we get married, just calling your mother up and talking to her kind of makes you feel happy. Calling a friend. And then what happens? You are able to control that emotional state that you were in the morning. You change it, and it changes your whole day. So you have control, you have power over your life, you have control and power over the things that you do. Again, neuro-linguistic programming, it helps adding choice, it helps changing in perception. Very important, because a very important presupposition that we have in neuro-linguistic programming is map is not the territory. What is a map? Map is what I know to be the truth, what I know to be a fact. It may not be the truth or the fact that somebody else is seeing. For example, there is this one example of an elephant, and there were 3 blind monks, and they were taken to this elephant, and one of them got to touch its trunk. And after touching its trunk, he said, oh, this looks long and slimy. And I think it looks something like a snake. So I think it's a snake because he just got to touch that trunk. The other blind monk, he was able to touch the feet of that elephant. And when he touched that feet, he felt it hard and strong and big. And he's like, this looks something like a tree trunk. So maybe it's a tree trunk. And he told the other monk, oh, you're lying. It doesn't look like a snake at all. It doesn't feel like a snake at all. And then the third one, he got to touch the elephant's tail. And he was like, you guys are wrong. It's neither the tree trunk nor a snake. It's more like a rope. And it kind of has something bushy in the end. So maybe it's a rope with a broom or something. I don't know. So again, all the three of them were all correct. None of them were lying. But their perception was different depending on what they were exposed to. Okay, so in neuro-linguistic programming, what we do is we widen our horizon, you know. So instead of just seeing one event as the way we saw it or as the way we felt it, we try to understand what's going on around. How did the other person feel? How did the fourth person feel? You know, if you have an accident, and you hear the news on the TV, your perception will be entirely different. So the person who was in that accident, their feeling and their perception is different. The person who witnessed it was standing on that road or was maybe in the car behind and they witnessed it, their perception will be different. The police officer, when they come and they question, their perception will be different. Well, when we see it on the television, it's different. So it's the same event, but the stories are different because it all depends on what we feel, how we are feeling, and how we are perceiving. So neuro-linguistic programming, it helps you to add choice. And then where is it useful? I personally use it. It is very effective in minimizing phobias, stress, anxiety, addictions, PTSD, setting and achieving goals. But basically, NLP can be used in any setting outside of the medical world as well. All right. Any questions so far?
I had this question, like, once you get trained, can you use it as like a career?
You can use it in your career, because what neuro-linguistic program, it will teach you skills. So you can use it as a doctor also. You can use it in your research also, because it teach you skills. Yes, you can use it, but you can use it as a career also. A lot of people, they use NLP for coaching. Like, for example, it's a skill set that I learned, which I use in my coaching.
Right.
Yes. Or, for example, we have psychologists here, psychiatrists here, they can use it because it's going to help them, because it's basically teaching us how to interact with people. So it's going to help you overall. It's going to help you overall in every aspect of your life.
How someone can get trained?
There are training schools, institutes here. I did it through NLPCA. There are trained, trainers who train them. I myself am teaching as well, but I am, as of now, not. I cannot give a certification because I'm not kind of affiliated with any organization yet to give out a certification. So when I teach NLP to my clients, I currently have two girls who I am teaching. So my goal is basically to give them personal development skills, which they can go ahead and use in their personal lives.
How long it takes to achieve?
It's almost, so there are two parts to it. One is a basic foundation course, which takes around 5 months, and the other one is another 4 months, which is the master.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so it takes you almost 8 to 9 months to get the whole certification. If you want to do the whole master program, yes.
Oh, okay.
So to Reem and to Romana, since you guys are here, I can train you if you want to be trained by me, or I can let you know of the company where I got trained. So it's up to you. So what's happening in NLP is that we know that anything and everything that gets stored in our mind, which is our brain, there are 5 representational systems through which this information is accessed. It goes through our brain. Naturally, we all know first is visual, pictures, stuff we see, sounds, stuff we hear, smells, tastes, and touch and sensation. How many times has it happened that you say, watch a drama, or you see something and it triggers a memory and it takes you back? You maybe see somebody wearing a dress and you see, oh yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I had this colored dress, or I had this kind of a jewelry, or so sometimes pictures, you see something, it elicits a memory. It happens. Same way sound. Sometimes you listen to something, you listen to a music, and it takes you back memory lane. Stuff that you've forgotten, stuff that happened long time ago, and you just see, maybe hear somebody having a conversation, and it takes you, yeah, when I was little, my mother used to say this. So these are memories that pop up because they were triggered by words, by sounds. Same way smells. How many times it happens a certain food that we eat, the way it smells, or a certain perfume, or certain flower,